Bravos Banter is back. I am back after missing last week's episode. Nick Galley is here as always. And a very special guest we got today, Tanner Schobel, Braves middle infielder, joins the podcast. Tanner, thanks so much for taking the time.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So let's just start off, win number 21 last night against Chatham. You guys have now beaten every single team in the league. I don't know the last time the Braves did that, but that's kind of cool to me. How significant do you think that is, beating all 9 other teams?
I think it's a pretty big deal, especially in a league like Cape Cod, where it's the best competition in the country. I think it's important just because, the main thing with our team is that we just go out there and compete. Like, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We could be playing a professional team, and we have the same mentality of just go out there and have fun with the boys and just try to get good swings on balls and put it in play and score runs.
And I know obviously for you, you've started to play more consistently. You've kind of been a mainstay in the lineup over the past week. How has it kind of helped you personally just to know, all right, I'm going to be in the lineup, I can kind of get in my groove, and it's kind of shown on the field too, but how has that kind of helped you, play more consistently and be able to produce more?
So for me, I'm a big routine guy. So it's always nice having a routine where you're going to, like in the spring. So like we'd have our lifts, we would have our pregame BP, we'd have mentality of like, I was seeing pitches every day. Like I was getting in a rhythm and stuff like that. And up here, it's a lot harder because there's just like the facility's not the same. You're not going off a machine hitting 95 all the time. But so for me, it's easier because like I'm seeing pitches every day kind of thing. So that's helped me a lot stay in a rhythm, because it's hard to get in a rhythm when you're not really doing it every day. So
I would make the argument that you are going against a machine pitching 95 every day. That's KG. I would make that argument. I'm just saying.
KG is the machine. You're right.
You said you're a big routine guy. Walk us through that routine every day. So what does your day-to-day look like? You got a game, 6:00 game at home. What does your day look like?
So my day typically, if I know that if I know that I'm maybe not playing that day, I'll typically hit legs in the morning, and then I'll wake up at the same time around like 10 to 10:30 every day. Get a good breakfast, go to the gym, come back to the house, probably take a nap for about an hour just to rest up a little bit more, make a good lunch, and then kind of lock myself in to prepare to go to the field around 2:45, 3:00, whenever coach wants us there. And then just take my BP round serious, and then take good IO, good infield stuff, and get ready for the game.
So how early in the day do you know that you're going to play or going to not play? Is that something you know right when you show up, or is that something you're told beforehand?
I'll know that I'll play or not play probably 5 minutes before IO.
Okay.
So it is kind of tough, but we kind of me and the guys kind of try to see, or we try to think how coach thinks. And so if someone's played 3 or 4 games straight, then there's a good chance that they might be down that day. So that's kind of the methodology behind that.
Have you ever been caught? You crush a big leg workout in the morning, and then you're like, oh no, I'm playing tonight.
That's happened to me twice so far. But yeah, no, it's fine. Like, you should go up to the field expecting to play. So in the back of your head, there's always that idea that you could play. So it's okay. It's not a big deal.
Do we have a prediction for today and maybe where you're batting, so I can at least get one name down in the lineup book, perhaps get 1 of 9? Try and have that ready.
I'd imagine either 6 through 9, pretty much 6 through 8. That's where I've been kind of the last couple of days. So
I know these last couple of days you guys have had it feels like every night you guys do something in the 8th or 9th inning that causes you to win. What have you noticed about the clutch factor of this team and the ability to come back late in games and make huge plays late in games and just kind of come through in the clutch?
I think it's because everybody's just comfortable playing with each other. I think a lot of times people get too much into the game, like in the spring at school and stuff like that. And so people get nervous, and it's a really big deal to them to perform. And I think right now this summer, everybody's just honestly having a good time, just trying to put good ABs. Everybody cares, obviously, but I just think there's that factor of we know we're good. We don't have to try to do too much. We can just trust our teammates. Like if like for example, the game that Burnsy hit his walk off, I struck out that at bat before, but like it's fine. Like I know Burnsy's gonna pick me up, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where we always know that our teammates have each other's back, and so we don't get too the culture in the dugout's good is kind of what I'm saying. It's nobody's selfish, nobody's gonna, do anything stupid if they get out. Like everybody has each other's back, and we know someone's gonna pick each other up.
I want to ask you, Tanner, about that Orleans game. You hit a ball to center field, originally called a home run, called it a ground rule double. Did you think it was over the fence? Did you, or did you know it was a one hop over the fence and you were just trying to get 4 bags out of that?
Well, I mean, it had just rained. The grass is damp. Like a ball's not going to bounce like that over the fence in the grass. So in my head, I was kind of like, all right, it's a ground rule double. Some part doing the home run sign. So I was like, all right. So I just kept on running around the bases. And then their dugout kind of went nuts after I did that. So they like got together as a crew and called a double. But yeah, in my head, I knew I didn't really go over the fence, but I put a good swing on it, and it was pretty close. So I was happy with it.
Has it ever happened to you before, where you think you get a home run and they're like, all right, no, it's a double now?
I don't think that's happened to me before, but I've definitely seen that happen. It happens a lot at the fields where there's like no, like it's just like a chain link fence and you can't really see.
Yeah.
Like you can see through it, so it's easier to it's harder to tell if it goes over or not. But
feels like
just did a lot more.
Feels like it happens at Doran a lot. Has happened a couple times this year.
What's that?
I feel like that's happened at Doran at least a couple of times this year. Yeah.
Yeah, if they had like a little like cloth around it or whatever, like I know some high school fields have, it'd probably be a lot easier, but it hasn't really affected any games too much, I wouldn't say. So
What's been your favorite field to play at? So actually you've played, I think, at all of them now, I believe. So what's been your favorite one to play at?
My favorite field to play at, shoot, that's a hard one. For a hitting purpose, I like playing at YD just because it's short and center field.
Yep.
So VP's fun there, but probably from like a defensive standpoint, I think Harwich is pretty good. Chatham's pretty good. Our field lately has not been bad. When we first got here, it was a little rough, but our field's been pretty good as of late. Yeah, but I'd say probably Harwich is probably the best infield surface that I've played at so far.
I asked Knapp the same question the other day, and he goes, YD, 100%, only chance I can get one out of there. And then
yeah,
go YD because it's what, 360 to dead center?
It's that.
And then I go, all right, okay then. YD's fences are moved back to all 400. He's like, ooh, Harvard then. Maybe the ninth infield. So that's a common answer. You guys are on the same page in the middle infield. You're like,
yeah, they take care of their infield at Harwich, I'd say. Looks good. So, but I know Q does a really good job at on our infield. Sorry, and it's gotten a lot better since day one. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, I know Q and like Theo and I think Ed shows up sometimes too. They're there at like 8 a.m. on game days or something, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., just working on the field. And like I live with Theo and I never see the kid because there's no chance I'm waking up at 8 a.m. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it. But yeah, they're putting in the work on that field. So.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's showing.
It really is.
How do the fields compare? Obviously, the college fields are like bigger and stuff. I asked Knapp the same question, and he was kind of biased because he plays on turf. So he's like, So I don't know if I'm sure you're a turf guy now because you've probably been Virginia Tech's probably turned you into a turf guy. You a turf guy now?
Yeah, I'd say for like my own personal like development and stuff, I like playing on grass. Okay. Just because on turf it's really easy to be lazy and kind of let things come to you and only have to work through it. But on grass, that was my biggest my biggest thing that I wanted to work on this summer was just working through the ball as an infielder. And on turf, you can do that pretty easy, but on grass, you really have to do it, or else you're not going to be successful. So I'd say for my development and to get better, I like working on grass. But for like a game like scenario where I just want to compete and win, I'd say turf is probably my best bet on playing some error-free baseball.
So when you're at school and you have like, a weekend homestand at home, and then you got to go on the road and play on grass, is there any adjustment there? Do you find yourself having to adjust, especially in that like Friday night game?
Yeah, for me this year. And so we had just gotten off of Kent State, and so we just played them on our turf field. We had just done all of our scrimmages on turf in the preseason, and the fall was all turf, obviously. And so we go to Miami, and like I hadn't taken a ground ball on dirt since probably July, and it was February, March timeframe. So that was a little funny, where I just got so used to staying back and just kind of fielding it where it was and throwing it. Where at Miami, the ball skipped a little bit at Miami, but I really had to working through it and stuff like that, and just not getting the turf hop and getting a dirt hop. So that was a little difficult, I'd say. The first, probably, we practiced on Thursday night, so first 30 minutes of practice, I was kind of like, geez, I miss turf right now. But by game time on Friday, you're pretty much locked in and ready to go.
I know you've been playing on the Cape for over a month now. Today's the 25th. You guys, opening day, June 20th. I know you guys had like a week of practices leading up to that. Baseball aside, what's been your favorite part of being out here, kind of first of all, is this your first time out to the Cape, out to the East Coast, or had you been out here before? Like
No.
Northeast area?
Yeah. I have family that lives in Orleans, so we used to come up here and there during the summer and hang out at the beach with them. And honestly, since I've gotten here, we haven't really done much around Bourne on our off days.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously hanging out with the boys is always a great time. And but one of my favorite things is going to see my family in Orleans and hit up the beach and go on the boat and go fishing, have a good time with them, and spend some family time that a lot of people don't have the chance to do up here. So that's been my favorite part.
So growing up, I'm assuming you had hit a few Cape Cod League baseball games when you were visiting.
Oh yeah.
So is that kind of surreal now that you're playing in this league?
Well, it's really cool because growing up, you go to these games and it's like they're professionals out there. Like these guys are the next big thing. So you always see all these kids running up to all the players. Can I get your autograph? Like that's how I was that guy. Like when I was 6 or 7 years old, going to these games. I used to go to the camps all the time too, and so looking at it now, it's just a bunch of guys that you go to like bunch of college kids just wanting to play baseball, have a fun time. It's kind of funny how the rules reverse. And like, I remember I was one of those kids. So I've never passed up an opportunity to like sign the autograph or take a picture or something like that, which has always been really cool.
Have you gotten used to signing autographs yet? You got the signature down?
I'm working on it. Mine's a work in progress a little bit, but I'm working on it.
Who's got the best and who's got the worst? I heard a rumor that Frank Doling needs a lot of work on his.
Yeah, Frank could probably work on his a little bit. The best is tough. Obviously it's all just Scrabble, so everybody's kind of has the same vibe. But I've heard the same thing about Frank, so his needs some work. But I don't know. I don't know who has the best one. There's a lot of good ones out there. I'll say that. I'm unbiased with this one.
I don't know who I was talking to, if it was Zach or Braylon, but someone really liked Caden's. Thought Caden.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Have you ever had to sign?
Had some practice too. He's a really good player.
Probably had some practice behind you. Probably right. Have you ever had to sign anything obscure, or has it just usually been baseballs, kind of like hats, shirts, or is someone coming up to you and asking you to like sign their kid's forehead? Has that happened?
Well, so obviously, like baseball is like pictures. Like some people come up to us before the game when we park our cars with like books.
See that. Yeah, that's dedication.
That one's a little crazy to me, but yeah, they have like baseball cards of like all the players and stuff like that, and so they'll do that. Bats are kind of weird because round object it can be weird sometimes. But when I was at the camp, it was one of the I want to say he's gonna be a freshman in high school, 13 or 14-year-old. He wanted us to sign his below his collarbone. I'll put it that way.
It's a unique one, I think.
And a very unique one. So as a
Yeah.
joke, kind of, we all were like, okay. So,
Hopefully, not like a ballpoint pen, because that would have hurt.
that would hurt. We had a Sharpie, so that one was okay. All right. But yeah. So a lot of different baseball objects. Hats are kind of hard with the ballpoint pens because it doesn't really show up. But it's been cool just like getting to do that because it's nice.
Calvin and I, we have not been asked for any autographs. Kind of bizarre, honestly.
I mean, what happened is the ball comes down to the dugout. Like everyone in the dugout is signed this, but like me and Aaron and Ellie, we never get the ball in our hands. It never comes down to our end. So
I got you next time. Next time I'll get you guys plugged in with.
Do you get asked for autographs at school? Is that allowed? Do people do that to you, or just a different animal?
So in the beginning, it was like COVID was obviously like I wouldn't say like a problem at Virginia Tech, but like it was obviously in the back of people's heads where people didn't want their kids running up to the dugout, and our coaches and our trainers didn't want people coming up to the dugout just in case kind of thing, because nobody was vaccinated until probably, I don't know, April for us or May or whenever it came out. So in the beginning, it wasn't that big of a thing where people would come up, but towards the end, when people started getting vaccinated, when the restrictions just kind of died down a little bit, I think more kids and more people came up to the dugout, and we were able to sign stuff and take pictures and that kind of thing. So it didn't start very, very hot, but it ended pretty good, I'd say.
This question that I have now, not even baseball related, not even COVID related, but I think it was probably before the Orleans game. It might have been, I'm not sure. One of our interns, I forget who, I think it might have been our PA guy, Will Henschel, he came up in the booth. He said, I think I just saw Tanner Schobel's truck. And I said, what made you think it was Tanner Schobel's truck? Was he driving it? And he said, no, the license plate, I haven't even confirmed this. The license plate said Schobel.
It does.
Okay, so it definitely was, or I hope it was your truck, or else you have a really big fan somewhere. Is there a backstory behind the Schobel license plate, or was it just you thought it looked cool, or has this been something you had planned for a while?
No, so I want to say it was my senior year of high school, right before COVID happened, and my parents were like, "Hey, like, do you want to make your own license plate, or like, what you want to do? Like, we have to, I guess get a new one or something like that."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, like I'd love to customize one." And it's like I'm thinking like, what can I do? Like, what's like something funny maybe, or just like I don't know. And then I'm just like sitting there, and my mom is trying to come up with ideas. I'm like, yeah, like maybe, but probably not. Then I was like, hold on. So then I like typed in like my last name, like see if it like fit. And like it was a perfect fit. And so I was like, I want to do this. And my mom was like, why? Like, why do you want to do that? And then I called my dad, and he was like, oh, that's awesome. You got to do it. So that was the reason we did that. But it's actually like a lot of people make fun of me for it. So like it's kind of a joke, but it did help me find my car once.
Oh yeah.
When I had to get an oil change, and I took it to the dealership, and they were driving it around, and the guy got out of the car, and he said like, this car is for, the person's name was Gene, I guess. They said this car's for Gene. And I was like, no, like that's my car. And they were like, no, like I have the paperwork here. And I was like, dude, my last name is on the plate. And he was like, oh shoot, you got a point. So he gave me the car, and it was fine. So that's my only like thing that's gotten my back with it so far.
Well, I'm glad to hear it was your truck. I'm glad like Dalton Rushing isn't driving in with like a Schobel license plate. It'd be a little disturbing, a little offsetting right there. So glad to hear that's yours at least.
Oh yeah.
I want to ask you about the Virginia Tech hammer.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you guys call it, the hammer, slam or whatever. How did that idea originate? This was the first year you guys did it, right?
So last year was the first year, but with COVID, it wasn't able to take off like it did this year.
Because that went viral. So, like, how fun was that? How'd that originate? Talk me through that.
So our assistant coach, Coach Hansen, he's our first base coach. He was like, you guys need to like find a way to like reward yourselves for hitting a homer and like getting a good swing off, like scoring, like providing for your team kind of thing. And like I wasn't there last year when they started it, so like this has just kind of been passed down to me as far as I know. So but yeah, he was like, you guys need to like try to reward yourself for like hitting a homer, providing for the team, like scoring a run. And so he suggested we just drop the hammer kind of thing. And so this year he bought a brand new hammer. Like we got a Virginia Tech logo on it. Like it was really cool. And so our thing was whoever hit a homer, like they got to slam the hammer. And what was cool is before our they made a rule saying we couldn't sit in like a certain part of like our dugout anymore because it wasn't part of the dugout or something. Like it was weird. Like we used to have like everybody kind of in that area for it. And so when the hammer went, we'd have like a big crowd around it and everybody would just jump up and they would slam the hammer and just be like just really high energy and electric kind of thing. And so that got a lot of people's attention on social media. And so that kind of took off out of nowhere, I'd say.
Was there like a keeper of the hammer who would like to protect it? Was like someone's duty, or was just chilling in the dugout?
So Nick Walesa, one of our first basemen, he was the pride hammer handler, I'd say, and so he did a really good job of tossing the hammer and letting people slam it and stuff like that. And then towards the end of the season, he was getting a lot of ABs and playing a lot, so it kind of just sat in the dugout until someone hit it. But I would say that he was the man when it came to the hammer, and he always had the perfect toss because that thing is heavy, dude. Like they toss that thing to you, it kind of takes you back a little bit, and you're like, whoa, like I didn't expect it to be that heavy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was there like near like injury scares with a bad toss? Someone had to, was there any misses?
There was no misses, thank goodness. But that would have been a vibe kill for sure. But one story one story is Nick, our buddy Holes, he had the hammer and he was tossing it towards one of the guys and the other guy was coming towards him and everybody was super excited. So another one of our teammates, one of the pitchers, was like pushing Holes into the hammer as it was coming down. And so it missed him by like probably half a foot, just like hit the ground kind of thing. And so he was really nervous. He was about to get hit by a hammer going down full speed. So,
that would have been bad.
That would have been very bad.
Yeah, probably pretty bad.
At least a concussion at the least, but maybe a lot more.
Would you say that's like the best kind of ritual you've had on a team, or has there been other ones that, even this Bourne team, obviously with the pine tar ball you guys kind of got going on right now, or the multiple renditions of it? I mean, what's kind of been some of the things in your career that you guys as teams have kind of clung to?
That's definitely the most recognized thing I've ever been a part of. I think it's the most exciting thing in college baseball for a celebration standpoint, just because getting a whole stadium to go nuts is kind of a really cool thing. But I haven't ever really been a part of a team where we've had something like that, or because like growing up, I've always had like really like good coaches and stuff like that who don't really want the attention. They just want us to go out there, play baseball, and like just like a business like mentality of showing up, getting to work and leaving kind of thing. So I haven't really had one of those experiences, but I know with the hammer, that was the first time that I've had something on my team where people could, express like, we just did that. Like it sucks the energy out of the other team too. Like you see them watch it and everybody's all deflated. It's really awesome. But so I haven't really had anything like that. And the pine tar ball is awesome here. It was just, we were just chilling in the dugout one day and they were just going at it, just getting that thing lathered up. But
Hopefully no
Yeah.
umpire checks with the dugout, you know. Thank God they don't have that in Cape Cod League baseball. I know you guys aren't using it, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays they'd be all over that, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, no one uses it. I know, guys. It's just kind of a symbol. You know what I mean? A brave symbol.
All right, well, Tanner, we're running out of time, but I want to ask you, I'm putting you on the spot here, so there's a lot of pressure going on you right now. But give me something about one of your Braves teammates that you don't think Nick and I know and that you don't think many people would know, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, we want a groundbreaking,
Ooh.
we want this to be on ESPN later, basically.
Okay, so one thing that I found out yesterday that really shocked me was how good Knapp and Eric Adler are at freestyling.
Really?
Like putting some beats together, or like having a beat and put some lyrics together. They were really good at freestyling. I learned yesterday.
Who's better?
So that's one thing that
Who's better?
What was that?
Who do you think's better?
Who's better? I don't know. Eric had a really good line yesterday, but I'd say Knapp consistently was pretty good. Another thing is X was in the back too. Me and X were not good at freestyling at all. So that was fun though. And yeah, so X and Adler and Knapp are pretty good on the mic, I'd say.
I gotta get down on the field, and we're gonna have a rap contest.
Pre-game type show, freestyle.
That seems like that seems like a rain delay type beat right there.
It does.
Oh yeah,
We'll
definitely put him on the spot with it.
Knapp versus Adler rap battle.
I will say though, you've been one of the top dancers on the team, from what I've seen on social media and just being around the dugout during rain delays, after games, before games.
I was trying to hit the Cupid Shuffle the other day, and they kept on playing it and stopping it and playing it and stopping it. So it's hard to get in a rhythm there, but I'm always happy to.
That's on DJ Willie Hench, the public address / on aux guy for the games.
That is on him. We got to end on our question, Calvin.
Well, I want. We got 5 minutes left here.
5.5 minutes.
Quickly, I want to ask Tanner: have you had the famous steak and cheese? And is it as good as it's cracked up to be, or are people like Colby just blowing smoke on how good this thing is?
Steak and cheese? Is there a steak and cheese at the field?
There's a steak and cheese at this shop. I don't know. It might not be. There was a story on Colby was in it. Was Lampy in it too, Nick?
Lampy was in it. I think Jake Bennett was in it.
They're all having this steak and cheese from this place down the street. So apparently you haven't heard of it. So it's not that big of a steak and cheese thing then.
Yeah, no, I haven't. The one thing that I hear about all the time is the lobster trap. A lot of people really like that. But yeah, no, I haven't heard of a steak and cheese, but I'm really curious now to go check it out.
Yeah, you got to ask Colby and Joe about it. It looked like it was Colby's thing, this steak and cheese pregame at this place down the road.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Sounds good.
Colby on it sometime, Nick, and ask him about it. But
yeah, we'll check.
So we got to end on our question. Nick, I'll let you go first. It's something that Nick came up, silly idea how to end the show. Just ask a random question, see how everyone responds.
So my question is for the both of you. Either one of you can take the lead here. Most irrational fear and why?
Oh, jeez. I'd say mine is probably heights. I think that's a very irrational fear because, I mean, obviously, like if you fall, you're gonna get hurt pretty bad or die or something like that. But
no, pretty rational fear.
Well, like that's rational part, but the irrational part is like just don't fall.
That's true.
Like, we can walk around all day, like doing things like regular people stuff, and just not fall. And so, like you see people play a baseball game, and obviously like, people slide and stuff like that. But we're like we're running around the bases, which are an inch off the ground, like stepping on them, like not tripping and falling, like. Or most of the time, that happens all the time. People fall and trip on them, but like most of the time, people don't trip and fall. And so, like, if you're like on a big cliff or something like that, just don't fall. You know what I mean? Like that's the irrational part.
Fair point.
All right, mine would be snakes, which you're like, oh, that's rational. But I live in Maine. There's no snakes. I mean, there's no snakes in Maine, so that's the irrational part.
100%.
But there's snakes, but there's no snakes in Maine. So that's the irrational part.
Okay. Mine would be ladybugs. Terrified of those.
That's weird.
Really?
Yeah, there's like hundreds of them every like summer. Hundreds of them come out, man. When I was a kid, they'd be flying around my house. It's terrifying.
Got
Scarred
you.
me for life.
All right. If you could be any dog, what dog would you be? Any type of dog. Don't act like that's a bad question, Nick.
I guess it's a good question.
Yeah, like
No, that's a really good question.
I'd go Boston Terrier. I think.
Ooh, we have 2 Bostons at home. Great dogs.
Really? All right.
We do.
Awesome.
I'd be a Rottweiler, though. We used to have a Rottweiler, and those things are insanely just, like, strong and just, like, really good, like, loyal dogs. And so I think that'd be really cool to be a Rottweiler. Just because, like, people, like, look at you and, like, kind of, like, walk a little bit farther away just so, like, they don't mess with you and stuff like that, which is cool. But, yeah, Boston Terrier's not a bad choice either. Those are great dogs.
I'm going to go
Great dogs.
I'm going to go Husky. That's a cool dog. I'd be a Husky.
Okay.
All right. Now what up top of your head here? Got a question?
What's that?
Got a question here?
What'd you say, sorry?
Got a question for us at the end or no?
Ooh, okay. What is your ideal sandwich and why?
That's a good question. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm a BLT guy. I love a good BLT. You got some nice crispy bacon on there on some nice like sliced bread. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
With or without mayo?
With mayo.
You had me in the first half.
I'll go
Not a big
meatball
reaction.
grinder.
Okay, so Nick, you're going meatball sub. Tanner, what are you rolling with as your favorite sandwich?
I'm gonna go with an Italian. I love Italian subs.
Good choice.
Those are my favorite. A little bit of banana peppers on there.
Oil, salt, and pepper?
Salt and pepper with the oil and vinegar and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's a beautiful, beautiful sandwich to me.
Banana peppers, really, really underrated. Topping there, or
They don't
salad, or not salad, sandwich.
No, they don't taste anything like bananas though. They're just the same color.
Well, Calvin, obviously.
It's false advertising, I think, but
Thank you. That's a good point.
I mean, it's a fair point, but I mean, I think that'd be assumed. No one's throwing bananas on sandwich. I mean, I guess some people put like peanut butter on bread with some bananas, if you consider that a sandwich. But you consider a hot dog a sandwich?
it's a horizontal sandwich if you think about it, but I'd say it is. Yeah, it's got to be a form of one.
It's a hot dog. It's a hot dog.
But is a cheeseburger a sandwich?
No, it's a cheeseburger.
It's still a sandwich. It's got to be, right?
Nothing has to be categorized. You don't have to categorize everything.
Is it hot dog? You go hot dog or glizzy? Which one you
Glizzy.
picking? Yeah, it's glizzy.
It's got to be a glizzy.
Has to be.
But
Calvin,
what makes a sandwich then? I gotta ask.
I mean, there's no distinct thing. You don't need to have. There doesn't need to be a set sandwich rule. It'll be like, oh, it doesn't have to be like that. The sandwich is like, obviously you got your bread and your whatever you put in the middle of it, but that doesn't mean a hamburger has to be a sandwich. They're a cousin. They're a cousin of one another.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It's
Okay.
like a distant relative.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
A hot dog and a BLT, they ain't the same thing.
No, I know. But I'd say if you put a cheeseburger as a relative, a hot dog's got to be a relative too, in some shape or form. Maybe a second cousin.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah, a little more distant. We've been talking about sandwiches, I think, more than any other thing in this episode right here, which is unique. You never know which way these things are going to turn.
Know how Bravos Banter is going to turn out. But that wraps up this edition of Bravos Banter. Tanner, thanks so much for taking the time out of your game day routine. You probably, I don't know what you missed out on from your game day routine. Maybe you have to shorten your nap that you usually take. But thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, and good luck tonight against Harwich.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks so much, Tanner.
See ya.